So today is Sunday, February 11th, 2023. I'm here in Summerlin, which is in Nevada, not too far from Las Vegas, Nevada. I did a bike ride from basically almost the Las Vegas Strip out to Summerlin, and then now I'm going to do a bike ride from Summerlin, taking the trails to the Las Vegas Strip, and I'll explain as I start riding some more background about it. But about the Trader Joe's here, the reason I started in there was in 2017 my brother and I did this trip. We bike rode all the way out here, and Trader Joe's was like our final stopping point, so it was a nostalgic callback from 7 years ago. So 7 years later, got to see a little bit of the same Trader Joe's store. I always love the artwork they have in there. But bicycle is parked right here against these locks, same locks that we parked at again 7 years ago, and I'll get ready to head off now. All right, I have tilt lock mode on, so let me ride away. They're playing music here, so I want to try to get away from here quickly so I don't get any type of like copyright mark. First, what we're going to do is exit the parking lot and cross the bridge over by the highway. Because that's where the bike trail starts. And then, like I said, as I actually get on the trail, I'll start trying to explain some of the context. We're about an hour away from the start of the Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, and I'm trying to basically end this ride at Allegiant Stadium. I don't know if it's going to be so hectic there or not, but it should be fun to see.
Turn left on I-215 West Beltway Trail.
So yeah, we're going to cross that way first, then eventually we're going to end up like over there where I think it says 215 South. Okay, time to go. Ahead of us are the Red Rock Mountains.
Trail.
So this will be called the West Beltway Trail once we get across. I think we're gonna have to wait for the next light again.
Turn left on I-215 West Beltway Trail.
Okay. And then I'm turning around so that I can orient myself. You can see the bike path actually continues on this way. We're going to be headed back toward the Las Vegas Strip, and like I said, once I actually get on the trail, I'll start narrating some more of the background information on this. You do have to exercise patience with some of these traffic lights. That's why I cut them out of the footage. And make sure these cars that are here, for example, actually stop. There we go. We're starting on the Western Beltway Trail. So, for the context and story, back in 2017, and I've told this in previous videos like twice already, but I know not everyone's going to watch the videos. Back in 2017 was my first ever trip outside of the state of Ohio, and first time ever flying a plane. I had a conference in Las Vegas. My brother tagged along with me, and our first day that we were at our hotel, the MGM Grand, we went on the website Spin Lister and rented these bicycles from a guy. And again, our first morning there was like 6 a.m. or something. We went out, picked up the bikes, rented them for 24 hours, and we rode them all the way from the strip near Mandalay Bay all the way to Summerlin Trader Joe's. And then we initially thought about going to Red Rock, out to Red Rock Mountain, but I had to get back to my conference event. We just didn't think timing wise it would work. So flash forward, I'll still talk about that a little bit. On the way to Summerlin, it was very windy. Wind was pushing against us, and it was a slight incline or uphill the entire way, so we were huffing and puffing. It was a relief to finally get to Summerlin. On the way back, we took the same route, which I'm taking now, and it was so easy. Because look, I'm telling you right now, I haven't pedaled once yet, and I'm just coasting. There are going to be some points where I'll have to pedal, of course, but the way back was such a joyride because it required no effort. Now those people have like electric bikes, so they're able to power up this hill and make me jealous of them. But yeah, that's kind of the backstory. I figured back then I didn't have video equipment to record the journey, so it's like, 7 years later I'm gonna finally capture this memorable ride on film and post it to Poco Traveler. I could even go faster if I want, but like, I still haven't pedaled since I hit that Western Beltway Trail. Now today, because this time I'm staying at a cheap place called Sin City Hostel, because all I really cared about is having a bed at nighttime. But I took a different path to get to Summerlin. It was a shorter path, only 9 miles, but I was still laboring and huffing and puffing on the way there. I'm gonna pause for just a second because I do want to snap a picture for memory's sake too. Alright, let's snag my couple of pictures. So we have the highway on the left side, and that's what much of the trail ends up being, where you're riding up above the highway. But on our right, you've got the mountains. I know the video is not going to capture it on the right side so much, but if you look in the distance, you can still see it. You've got these big, I assume, electricity poles. And again, one of those things the camera's not going to pick up, but with the elevation, because you ride upward if you're going near Summerlin, it's all downward toward the strip. You can sort of see the Las Vegas Strip from here way in the distance. It'd be a little bit to the left. But yes, if you're ever visiting Las Vegas and you have the opportunity to ride a bike, and you somehow end up, you want to like be able to coast but still experience a trail, that's why another reason I wanted to show this. The challenge is figuring out how do you get the bicycle to Summerlin. Actually, it's not so much of a challenge. I had the opportunity, because I bought a 3-day bus pass, I could have put the bike on a bus that rode like 54 minutes out to Summerlin, and that would have saved me all the wear and tear, and then I could have just enjoyed the luxury of this still. But I still wanted to, I was like, you know what, I'm only going to be here, who knows how often I'm going to be able to ride a bike here in Las Vegas. We're going to, I believe, take this path downward. Comes right back up. That's one of those things where I'm not sure. Yeah, we didn't have to do that. That was more of a scenic thing. Now I gotta pedal up because you could have just stayed straight, and there's a, you'd be crossing the street, but there's basically no traffic there.
West Beltway Trail for 3 miles.
few times I do stop here and there, is just again to snag some quick pics. So the Super Bowl starts at 3:30 Las Vegas time. San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the trail is not 100% like this all the way to the MGM Grand or Las Vegas Strip, rather, I mean. This portion of the trail ends at a certain point, but then if you navigate it correctly, there is like one stretch of city streets you have to go on midway, and then another stretch of city streets closer to the Las Vegas Strip, but in between that there's several like mini trails. So altogether, if you put them all together, it sort of feels like one big long trail. You just got to know how to navigate it, which Google Maps does a great job of helping you with, but also the signage along the routes. Now, because we're coasting into a little bit of wind, I don't know how much that's playing into the audio, so forgive me if it sounds like all you're hearing is a big wind sound. So you could similarly take the straight path there, but I want to showcase the little walking bridge. And look at that, utilizing momentum still, or now I'm going to pedal a little bit just to make it easier to get up this last part. Park the bike for a second here. So over there, Red Rock, you can see the sloping nature of the paths we came from. Summerlin would have been somewhere up there. And then in the distance, you can see the Las Vegas Strip. All right, let's continue our ride. So this is a bridge that overlooks no, I can't remember what street it was now. Town Center, maybe? And then we'll spin back down again. The bridge allows you to avoid traffic altogether. Actually, it looks like in this case it was more of a necessity. You really would have had to have gone around to get back to the trail. This tunnel system on the right always reminds me of always reminded me of Terminator 2, that chase scene with the pickup or big semi truck that gets the top taken off of it with the motorcycle, like Arnold and John Connor were on the motorcycle with Liquid Metal, played by Robert Patrick, chasing from behind. Out towards Summerlin, I noticed it was a little chillier, like 46 feels like 42. By the Las Vegas Strip earlier, it was like 55. So I assume that's going to be warmer as we get closer to the Strip. And here's a portion that's just flat. I need to adjust my lock that I have tied to the locked up. My pedals are hitting it no matter which way I'm putting it. Sorry for the clicking noises. Try to adjust that once I get over here up this hill. Don't want to waste the momentum. Actually, this was not a steep hill to climb up this time. But yeah, let me take care of that. Now we've switched where the Terminator Tunnel is on our left side. If we look that way, you have another shopping plaza of some kind, like Lazy Boy, Target, and whatever other stores may be over there. Got several political ads on the side of this building. You can see now the path is sort of integrating with an exit. So if I'm not mistaken, this portion of the trail that runs alongside the highway might be concluding, and then we'll start shifting toward variations of the trail. feel like from memory I'm supposed to go this way. There is a sign here that says Western Beltway Trail to the right. So we're going to use that brown sign to guide us at the moment. I think the path is along there. Snapping a couple pictures. So we're crossing the road here. Watch this curb lane guy. I know I say that almost every time I'm watching a curb lane. I guess we are running back along the highway a little bit, but I think we're going to start distancing away from it. Oh, got some glass here. Hopefully I scooted between that. Not something you usually see on these paths. Although there was one stretch back in 2017 where, like, I'm not saying here, but like imagine a different part of the trail and there was a side place like this and there were a couple of like homeless tents set up. So we'll see if we still encounter those. Actually, I could be wrong. I feel like that back when the homeless stuff existed, it was like just beyond these houses. So maybe we're getting close to that. I bought a new SD card for my DJI Pocket 2 that's attached to my chest mount right now, because the other card I had, which I was filming on the way to Summerlin, was down to about 55 minutes worth of footage left, and I didn't want to cut it too close. Like if I would have rushed it, I could have probably completed this. But then I wouldn't have had any flexibility of possibly recording Super Bowl footage. Usually the amount of SD cards I have is not an issue because I film something, I clear it off my card, upload it to YouTube, and it's done. But I didn't have time to do that with like shooting 4 hours worth of footage yesterday. That filled up my big card, and then the other card got filled up today. Alright, so we're at another path to cross here as we're back on Fort Apache, which we intersected with on the way to Summerlin, and here's Peace Way. So what's gonna had to make sure I knew that car was gonna turn behind me. What we're gonna do here, you see again the brown sign ahead of us says Western Beltway Trail, now heading this way. So once we cross the street, the bike trail is going to resume along the highway, but over there. again, still generally downhill. If I could show my legs, I would, but trust me, I'm not pedaling right now. Probably 95% of the path so far is not required any pedaling going from Summerlin to the strip. If I do pedal, sometimes it's just because I'm getting, I wouldn't say bored, but like want to keep that momentum going even more. Little bump here. Haven't ridden this trail in 7 years, but it's funny, like everything I'm passing, like instinctively just like, okay, I think I know which direction to go now. It was a very memorable, because that was like my brother and I's first, it was definitely our first out-of-state experience, first airplane experience, first time riding a bicycle on our first time riding a bicycle on a major or long trail for a long duration. Even though we rode bikes in Cleveland, we didn't ride them extensively back then. Since then, we've started riding a bit more. So to us, when that happened, it was such a cool highlight and distinctive memory in our lives that it makes sense why everything looks so familiar to me. Are getting a little bit more glass, couple spots here. Yeah, I feel like the tents were set up here, so those appear to be gone. Alright, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're going to make a left turn here. I'm going to cross here, and then we're going to try to get to the other side of the street. Oh, I was busy Googling on my phone. Hopefully, I think I can still make this. When I say Googling on my phone, I should clarify that. I was looking at Google Maps on my phone. So for a brief stretch, you do have to ride on, is this Tropicana? Or what's this street called? I'll see it in a bit here. Yeah, this is West Tropicana Avenue. Hopefully the sidewalk's not knocked out here, because I purposely crossed to this side just to, I know eventually I would be on this side, but I thought like, oh, it would be I was curious if they had carved anything like a specific trail, because the sign said connector or trail connector. See over there on the left, a place called Exit. Why I remember that? I don't know. It just, when my brother and I passed it back then, it just seemed like it stood out. Exit. Like a place, condos or apartments. To me, this is, I mean, even though this is not a quote trail, knowing that there's a trail that we're connecting to, and it's a very smooth surface, it makes it, in my opinion, just as good of a bike trail. Somewhere up ahead, it's probably coming up fairly soon, there's a spot of green grass, and I think this is it. This is another one of those silly things that was memorable to us. Spanish Hills. Because the green grass is probably artificial, but it just looks so perfectly manicured. As silly as this may sound, I gotta take a picture of this like as a souvenir. I should peek at my phone real quick to see what the name of the road is that we want to go to next. Let me stop for safety reasons. We're actually getting really close to it. It is South Durango Drive, which is the next traffic light, I think. Also, I think one of the reasons we rode, I mean, we may have switched at some point, but the reason I think we were on that side of the street at one point was because we were going to Summerlin. I don't remember which way we did on the way home. We probably did go this way. Another sign that says Trail Connector. But on the way to Summerlin, because we knew the trail was going to be on that side, we pre-planned and went over there so it's one less stretch of the highway. Because we had scouted it out on Google Maps. By the way, this is also pretty much a slight downhill incline all the way to the strip. That's why it was so challenging doing that 9.5-mile bike ride from the strip to Summerlin on the road I was on earlier, because the entire way there's like no relief. Every single step of the way is an incline of some fashion. There is no escaping it. This is the reward and payoff for completing the uphill journey. You see one more sign here that says Trail Connector, and it's pointing up ahead. So what I think we do here is we cross Durango, but then we're going to make a right after we cross. We should get the walk sign after these cars are turning. You wouldn't believe how paranoid I am, by the way, how constantly I check my recording device to make sure it's still recording. You don't want to risk having to redo footage. Like, there's no way like, if it didn't record, there's no way I just couldn't go back and do it. It'd be too much work. But B, it also, especially this ride, because I did actually have a really old Palm Pre cell phone back in 2017, and it was acting funky already, like some touch screen issues. And I did try recording some video footage of the trip, but all I can remember is that when we got home, like, the audio wasn't on there for some reason. So it just kind of ruined the whole clip, watching this like completely silent ride. This is one stretch where you do pedal, but it's flat. I would say it's as even of a ground as you can get. So nothing challenging. Good thing we're doing this ride toward the strip for the most part. Otherwise, that sun going the opposite direction would be blinding the footage quite a bit. I think at this next light, we're going to make a left turn. It's Hasidia Avenue. Hacienda. It said Hacienda Avenue, but it says Hacienda Road. Okay, we're gonna want to cross over. And the next stretch of the bike trail should begin shortly after that. See trail connector again. And here we go. We're going to turn right. So this one is called the Tropicana Flamingo Wash Trail. I was trying to see if it actually said Wash Trail or Wish Trail, but it said Wash Trail. And this part was memorable because to us it looked like almost like tumbleweeds. was going a little slow there because I was coasting while taking a picture. It reminded us of a desert-like setting. So this part of the trail is like the next phase of the bike trail that goes to the Las Vegas Strip. I want to say I'll call it like a third phase that gets a little trickier, or back then it did, because Google Maps doesn't recognize it, but it exists. That was one of the things my brother and I talked about over the years too. It's like, after having rode this once, if we were just, it's funny because we wouldn't know how to navigate yet, like the rest of Las Vegas. Sure, you could see the Strip from a distance and figure, okay, I'll head that way. But like streets and the best ways. But we always both figured if we were just all of a sudden, someone kidnapped us and dropped us off at Summerlin and we had a bicycle with us, we would know exactly, without even, say we had no phone with us, we would know exactly how to get back via bike trail to the Las Vegas Strip. See, this path has been like tarred quite a bit to make it flatter. I'm not sure why it needed to be tarred. Maybe, I mean, it must have, I'm assuming it cracked a lot. But it's hard to believe that there was that many cracks. But whatever they did with the tar job, it's a smooth ride still, right now. This is a portion of the path again where you do have to pedal. I mean, I could let it go and slowly coast, but the incline is so subtle that I'm actually like losing a little bit of momentum. That's why I'm still pedaling to keep a good pace going. But it's very easy on the legs. You gotta watch out for these dips here.
In 600 feet, turn left onto South Buffalo Drive.
Alright, so Google's saying in 600 feet turn left on the South Buffalo Drive. Let's see if this is one of those examples of Google being misleading. I gotta recenter the map. It's telling me to turn left and go back to that street over there on the left. So Google recognizes this portion of the bike trail.
Turn left onto South Buffalo Drive.
You can hear.
Turn right onto West Hacienda Avenue.
Yeah, so if you could hear Google's instructions, Google, knowing, you know, it's in bike mode, so it usually favors bike trails, but Google is telling me turn left here and turn left here and then go down the sidewalk on that road. And it doesn't have the green line to recognize that this same trail still continues here. Now granted, I guess it's not too confusing because anyone riding it can clearly see what's in front of them and be like, oh, I'm just going to take this. Now, maybe, like one could say, oh, maybe Google is recommending the least work because that's a flatter path and you won't have to climb this hill like you are right now. But like I said, Google does not even have the green line to recognize it as a bike path. I don't think they're going to make those subtle distinctions. We do have a curb here, so we'll just go over a little bit to the left. Same thing with this, Google doesn't recognize this portion of the trail too. Yeah, so this entire stretch, even the part that I'm on now, Google is still thinking that I'm on like Hacienda Drive. But we're deviating from that and just doing our own thing now. See, now Google's still confused because they recognize that I distanced from Hacienda, but it thinks I'm on this little side street by these houses on the right. I mean, that's one of those things where I could probably write into Google and be like, hey, all these years, how come you don't recognize these trails? And I could even forward them this YouTube video as proof of existence. Although their satellite imagery should be able to capture that too. I'm actually going to, in a second, mute Google Maps because it's constantly readjusting out of confusion, meaning it's making that noise. Although maybe it gets back on track here. No, it's still confused. I think I picked the right road. This is still the bike trail that I recall. I'm actually exiting Google Maps now and exiting the navigation view in Google Maps. And I'm just going to view the map, the raw map, because it still does identify parts of the trail. But yeah, rather astounding. All of this Google Maps doesn't recognize. So, and the point I keep saying that is because if you're like us, like a visitor out of state, and you're relying on navigation, you wouldn't have even known perhaps about this. My brother and I, when we were doing it, I think we might have seen someone do a similar YouTube video covering portions of it. But then what we did was we looked on Google Maps Street View, and we're kept on following it, in essence, like, oh, we see that there's a path entrance at this road, and then we would look at where we thought the exit point might be and be like, yeah, there's the exit, and we looked across the street and could see, okay, there's the continuation. And we kept doing that the whole way, and that reassured us that we'd be headed in the right direction. Now I wonder if this is Dewey. I remember there was a stretch where the path like doesn't happen and it's a road. And yeah, it says Dewey right here. And I remember it was right next to a school as well. So actually, traffic is so light that I think I can just ride in the road. Sidewalk would be perfectly fine too, very smooth. Las Vegas Strip is getting closer and closer. I've actually been taking my time too much with the pictures and all that other stuff, so instead of arriving when the Super Bowl's kicking off, I'm actually going to arrive probably like 20 minutes into the game. Who knows, maybe that'll be a good thing. Maybe there won't be such a log jam outside the stadium. So here's a bit of a predicament. I'm trying to remember what we did back then. Maybe we'll catch a break though here. We can go at least halfway, but there's no crosswalk. I mean, there's a crosswalk, but there's no lights. Maybe the lights are synchronized to allow for this because I was able to do that here. And I do notice there is a portion of a trail over here, so maybe there's a variation that people could have used, although I don't off the top of my head know where that would have been. But yeah, my recollection when we did this path the one time was Dewey had this first stretch that was like this, then we crossed the street, and then there was the high school or whatever school that was, and it was just that stretch of Dewey. And there's the bike path that picks back up on Dewey. One other fun personal reason to shoot this video is I'm sure my brother will get a kick out of re-watching it And then my mom, that was, you know, our first trip out, so she was always curious about it. And really didn't have many pictures or videos of the bike ride itself to show her. We had some videos of the Las Vegas Strip. So she might be like a fun little throwback for her too. Okay, the bike trail continues over here. I'm just using the easier smooth thing. I guess I could have just gone straight across there. The yellow popped out to me. And now we're back to the look and feel of the paths from earlier. And our Terminator 2 tunnel has returned. I think all those things are like water. I just always assumed that it was something water related to flow it out from the community during rainfalls and have it all collect in here. I don't know if that was to help alleviate flooding concerns. And I'm just purely making a guess as to what it would have been for. At various points, that must be like the road access for utility workers or workers, because there's like a ladder rungs that can take you down if you're servicing something. I think far ahead of us you can see Allegiant Stadium, and there's actually smoke above the stadium, so that's probably pyrotechnics from like opening kickoff or whatever. Let me stop real quick and take a picture of that. This one does have the warning lights that you can press. So we'll start going across here. Oh, you can see another reason why I guess they have those ladders down there. Some people just dump stuff. There's a couch, a chair, and a little table there. Unless people are just hanging out down there as a hangout. Because actually the couch, chair, and table were almost set up like a living room furniture setup. But I think that's more of a dumping ground. There are also a couple of shopping carts and bags, so that possibly could be someone's homeless setup. I should take it back. It is a homeless setup. I just don't know if it's active or dormant. There aren't a ton of people utilizing the trail. That is one thing. I mean, when I say that, I mean I'm not encountering like a bunch of people. That dog walker was the first person I remember seeing in quite a bit. Either this tiny dog is loose or its owner is very far away. It looks like a Chihuahua.
Oh, is that your dog?
No, no. I'm just navigating the sidewalk here. There's a bump there. Yeah, it's understandable why the kid thought I was like, oh, is that your dog? Because I was like going straight, but then all of a sudden I turned to the left. That was one of those situations where there was a curve if I would have kept going straight, so I had to like navigate to the left of him to take the flat ground. All right, now this part of the trail, I feel like this might be the end coming up here. And then we might just be going on the main road leading up to the stadium. If that's the case, I don't know if I remember this building on the left side. I thought, if it is what I'm thinking of, I thought this was like a complete empty field. In fact, if it is what I think it is, it would definitely have to be new, because I 100% remember we did like one of the few pictures or videos we did get preserved showed the start of the trail before we began, and it was like an big empty field. Yep, this is the start of it, I think. Should stop saying with certainties and wait till I actually get up there. But this is Russel Road, and I think I recall that being the start of it. So yeah, how about that? The Tropicana Flamingo Wash Trail. Just stepping off the bike because I'm gonna grab a picture of this. No more empty field. It's something called Ghost. I always thought they should have had a better, more clear sign of the start of the trail. It kind of diminishes how nice it is to go all that way. And from here, you're just taking Russel Road to the stadium. I'm not sure if the trail extends any further south. You even have new developments happening here on the left. Ah, shoot, I think I do remember this, and this part hasn't been fixed. There was one stretch right before the damn trail where there was no sidewalks. Gosh darn it. Yep, I'm not gonna risk riding this. And then we had to do this. I can't believe after all those years. I mean, it looks like with this construction, when it's done, that they're gonna put a sidewalk here. Of course, there's no vehicles coming right now. So let me zip to that driveway if I can. I mean, to be fair, this lane here is not for traffic, but I'm gonna walk it in case I need to dive out of the way. Makes sense why traffic is light, I guess, because Super Bowl starting, so everyone's either at the game or watching it. So I can see 3:40 p.m. the first play just happened. Christian McCaffrey hand off to the left side for 6 yards. Looking at the statistics on the site. Sometimes you have to be methodical about things. Like I slowed down because I saw 4 cars turning and I didn't want them to like be stuck in between. This one I'll just pause and wait. Then you let them see whether they wave you on or not, or if they continue. You gave me a little hand wave to keep going. I know there was a scrapyard somewhere. Might be this place. So when we rode this, especially since they were rental bikes, we might have walked through here because we were like, you never know if there's going to be loose nails and stuff. I don't know, it doesn't say scrap, it says vinyl laminate. Maybe it was that, or maybe it was a different building. Now, one thing I'm not sure of, but if it happens, you know, I would be understanding of it. I know they're saying like no, of course there's no like backpacks allowed in the game, but I know like the Las Vegas Police Department was tweeting about how no backpacks on the strip or other regulations. I didn't see much headlines about the entire strip, but it's possible that near the football stadium, including the bridge, maybe there's an even bigger security presence or barricade that prevents me from either getting through or maybe not getting through with bike and backpack. We'll see. It would be quite challenging to figure out a detour because it's not exactly easy to, you know, without going on a highway, to ride to a different part of the strip. I gotta watch because this car is, he was like aggressively looking left and right, so I actually stuck my hand up and then he stuck his hand up. Some of that communication that's not necessary. You never know what drivers are gonna do what. A bunch of garbage of disposable gloves on the ground there. So far, Russel Road has been a lot cleaner than it was when my brother and I took it. This part's the first part that got a little bit like, eh. Have a sidewalk out here. Sidewalk out and a couple of random coat hangers on the ground. You can see they have the sign that says no event parking. They want to make sure people aren't parking here for the Super Bowl and walking down to the stadium thinking they'll get a free spot. But whether or not any cars take a chance on like the lot across the street, I don't know. Probably not worth taking a chance. For some reason, this little side street is quite busy, and there's a dog, several pieces of dog shit, like right on the like this yellow thing that would climb up. Good thing I looked down, because actually, if it hadn't been for that stop, I probably wouldn't have looked down. Because I would have just like kept on going. Another sidewalk out. Got some food trucks going here. There you go. So this is where first part you're actually having people. Looks like there's some tailgating maybe happening far down that way. See certain things like the US Bank lot. They've got it closed off the security there, making sure people aren't going there. There's a few food street vendors. I'm sure this area was more popular leading up to the game. You got Crazy Horsell Gentlemen's Club saying big game after party. Road closed to through traffic. I'm going to mute this briefly just because I don't want the music to copyright me. Terrible Hearst, and they have like a pregame party, or not pregame, but party of some sort. There's an In-N-Out Hamburgers over there. It looks jam-packed. Chevron gas station. And a little bit further down is the Starbucks that I...
Not gonna get that. That's why God wants you to be covered. And the only person that's gonna be mad at that is the perverted guys. Stop telling them to put clothes on. You're ruining the game. you're ruining my outing. Let the ladies do what they want to do. What did the guy say in the Wesley? What did the guy say in the car? Leave the girls alone. Yeah, I started preaching for the women to put clothes on, and the guy said, "Leave the girls alone."
Sir, can I give you one of these?
No thanks. See, the billboard up there says "Do it for the Bay," or it did say that. It's rotating now. Surprisingly, the bridge is not crowded like I thought it would be. Again, probably because the game's already started. Wouldn't be surprised if those are some of like the performers down there for some of the entertainment during the game. They have blocked off this part of the highway. one little bit of advice. When there's a two-way walk, I have the bike far on the edge, so I am taking up less than half of the space. If you got a group of people, you got to move over. There you go, there's my favorite, or one of my favorite pictures. There's no score. It looks like McCafferty fumbled in Chiefs territory. 0-0 in the first quarter. So yep, the Super Bowl taking place right now. Now I gotta think what I want to do, because overall, yes, the bike riding thing took more of the day than I expected. I'd like to actually see the game, but I have a bicycle with me, so I wonder if there's a good place to park it in one of the parking garages, like at the MGM Grand, and maybe I can pop into the sports book and enjoy it. Oh, I forgot to mention an important piece. So when I was by that media driveway over there earlier, when my brother and I did this ride in 2017, we stopped and made a short video there. But in the backdrop, all this was a big empty field. There was literally nothing here. There was no concept for it being a football stadium, no plans for it being anything. So that's also a big sharp contrast, is now, bang, you have not only a football stadium, NFL football stadium, but a Super Bowl taking place in that location. And I did do a video on Poco Traveler, I think it was like 2 years ago, where I toured the outside of the stadium, walked around it in full, and I spliced together that clip from 2017. I was mistaken earlier. That's not a freeway ramp. I don't think it is. That's closed off. It's actually look like the street that goes around the stadium, I think. Let's see if I can ride here briefly, since there's no one here really. Another nice shot of the stadium before I continue on. One predicament too is, on one hand, yeah, that is a predicament, shoot. Because I would say I don't want to be caught on the strip with a bicycle after the game's over, because it's going to be madness. I'd rather be walking around and have the flexibility to do a video. Have a big professional camera set up here. Another guy camped out doing videos or footage. Maybe around when halftime's gonna start, maybe I can like find some back roads to bike back to the strip. I don't know, I'll see. Another case where you use your judgment. There's like 5 cars coming in a row and there's no one after that, so I'm not gonna try to make one of them slam on their brakes. I'll just wait.
Was you here for the race?
Thank you. Walking the tightrope here with this barricade.
Oh, I drove. Oh, yeah.
Right here, we have officially reached the Las Vegas Strip. one thing is, especially when it gets tighter up here, we're probably gonna walk the bike.
We might have just kept the bike.
I'm going to go ahead and pause this video because this part's not too interesting and I'm not riding. But I'll do my sign off for this bike riding video when I get to the corner of near MGM Grand in that intersection. Well, if you enjoyed this bike riding video from Summerlin to the Las Vegas Strip with a little extra twist of the Super Bowl first quarter having been going on during it, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to Poco Traveler if you haven't already, and we will see you next time.